Dreamworld Chronicles Episode 1. The Valley Where Dreams Bloom Chapter 2. The Whispering Forest. The moon watched quietly as Oliver stepped beyond the last hill of the valley where dreams bloom. Behind him, the little white cottage glowed warmly beneath its moss-covered roof. Its windows shone like welcoming stars, and for a moment he felt the familiar comfort of home. He placed a gentle hand over his satchel. Inside, the tiny white pillow rested peacefully. Its silver words still shimmered. "Find the sleeper." Oliver smiled to himself. "I don't know who you are," he whispered softly, "but if someone needs my help, I will do my best to find them." The pillow gave a tiny glow, not bright enough to light the path, only bright enough to say, "Thank you." Oliver's smile grew a little wider. "My grandmother always said kindness should never wait until tomorrow." He adjusted the strap of his satchel and continued walking. The moonlit path curved gently toward the oldest forest in Dreamworld, the Whispering Forest. No gates marked its entrance. No walls surrounded it. Only two ancient silver birch trees stood side by side, their branches arching together high above the path, as though welcoming every respectful traveler. Oliver stopped beneath them. Without thinking, he removed his little cap. "Good evening," he said politely. "Thank you for allowing me to pass." The leaves above him rustled softly, not because of the wind. There was no wind. The branches simply shimmered for a moment, scattering tiny silver lights into the air like drifting snow. Oliver had never noticed that before. He chuckled quietly. I suppose good manners matter everywhere. He stepped inside. The forest felt wonderfully different from the valley. The air smelled of pine needles, fresh rain, and blooming lavender. Soft moss covered nearly every stone. Tiny blue mushrooms glowed beside old roots. Golden moths floated lazily between the trees, their wings sparkling like little pieces of the night sky. Nothing hurried. Even time itself seemed to walk more slowly here. Oliver breathed deeply. He felt peaceful, as though the forest itself encouraged every visitor to slow down and simply notice the beauty around them. He soon came upon a narrow stream no wider than a garden path. Its water was perfectly clear. He knelt beside it. Instead of seeing only his own reflection, he saw children sleeping peacefully in their beds, a little girl hugging a worn teddy bear, a baby smiling while dreaming, an elderly man resting after a long day. Oliver blinked. The images faded. Only clear water remained. "A dream stream," he whispered. "I've only read about these." He cupped a little water in his hands. Before drinking, he bowed his head. "Thank you for your gift." The stream answered with a happy little ripple. Three tiny silver fish leaped into the air before disappearing beneath the water again. Oliver laughed quietly. "So you heard me." He continued along the path, his lantern swinging gently beside him. After some time, he noticed something unusual. A tiny bird sat beneath a fern. Its feathers were soft white, but one small wing drooped sadly against the ground. The little bird tried to fly. It fluttered, rose only a few inches, then settled back into the moss. Oliver walked closer very slowly. "So that's why you're sitting all alone." The bird looked up with frightened eyes. Oliver remained where he was. New frightened creatures should never be rushed. "It's all right," he said softly. "I'm not here to catch you." He sat on a nearby stone instead. For several quiet moments, neither of them moved. Eventually, the bird hopped a little closer. Oliver reached into his pocket. Every dream gardener carried a few moon seeds, tiny glowing seeds used to care for dream flowers. He placed one gently upon the moss between them. "You may have this." Then he moved his hand away. The bird tilted its head. After another long moment, it hopped forward and pecked gently at the glowing seed. Almost immediately, its feathers shone with a warm silver light. It stretched its injured wing. Once, twice, then lifted gracefully into the air. It circled Oliver 3 times before disappearing into the moonlit branches. As it flew away, something remarkable happened. A single unopened flower beside the path slowly unfolded its petals. Golden light spilled softly from its center. Oliver stared. "I don't remember seeing that flower." He smiled. Perhaps it was simply waiting. Without realizing it, Oliver had witnessed one of Dreamworld's oldest truths. Every act of genuine kindness helped another dream bloom. No one explained this to him. The forest simply remembered. Far ahead, the little pillow inside his satchel began glowing again. This time it floated gently into the air. It drifted ahead, never too quickly, always waiting whenever Oliver paused, almost as though it understood that good journeys should never be rushed. After a peaceful walk beneath the silver trees, the forest opened into a wide circular clearing. Oliver stopped. At its center stood the largest tree he had ever seen. Its trunk was wider than his carriage. Its bark shimmered with shades of pearl and moonlight. Its branches stretched high into the stars. Yet what astonished Oliver most were its leaves. They were not leaves at all. Every branch carried thousands upon thousands of delicate silver feathers. They moved together with a soft, whispering sound, not words, only gentle music. It sounded like mothers singing lullabies, like grandparents telling stories, like peaceful evenings beside warm fireplaces. Oliver removed his cap once again. What a beautiful tree! As though hearing his words, one feather drifted slowly downward. It landed in his open hand. It felt warm, lighter than snow. For just a heartbeat, Oliver thought he heard a tiny voice. Welcome. Then the feather dissolved into shimmering light. The pillow floated toward the great tree. Beneath its branches hung hundreds of tiny glass lanterns. Inside each lantern glowed a sleeping dream. One held a child sailing across clouds. Another showed two sisters planting flowers together. Another carried the dream of an old woman happily baking bread for her grandchildren. Oliver walked slowly among them. He smiled at every lantern. I hope your dreams are beautiful. As he passed, several lanterns glowed just a little brighter. Then, a gentle voice spoke behind him. You greet dreams as though they are old friends. Oliver turned. Sitting upon one of the roots was a small fox. Its fur shimmered with silver and pale blue, as though woven from moonlight itself. Its bright eyes were calm and wise. Around its neck hung a tiny bell made from crystal. It gave no sound. The fox inclined its head politely. My name is Luna. Oliver smiled and bowed. My name is Oliver. I know. Oliver blinked. You do, Luna nodded. The whispering forest has been expecting you. Oliver looked surprised. Expecting me? For a very long time. The little fox's voice was gentle, carrying neither excitement nor fear, only certainty. Oliver sat beside the great tree. If you don't mind. I have many questions. Luna smiled. So did I when I was young. Oliver laughed softly. My grandmother always said that questions are little lanterns. They help us see farther. Luna's eyes sparkled. She was very wise. For a while, neither of them spoke. They simply listened. The silver feathers whispered overhead. Lanterns swayed gently. Somewhere nearby, water trickled peacefully over smooth stones. Finally, Oliver asked the question resting deepest within his heart. The pillow told me to find someone called the sleeper. Luna became quiet. The forest seemed to listen. Even the lanterns stopped swaying for a moment. Then Luna looked toward the stars. The sleeper has been dreaming for 1,000 years. Oliver whispered, Is anyone truly asleep for that long? Luna answered softly, No, not unless Dreamworld itself is waiting. Oliver felt a gentle shiver, not from fear, but from wonder. He looked down at the tiny pillow resting peacefully in his lap. It glowed once, very softly, as though agreeing. Luna stood. The path ahead is long, but no traveler should begin such a journey on an empty heart. She smiled warmly. Come, there is someone who has been hoping to meet you. Oliver rose to his feet. He adjusted his satchel, lifted his lantern, and followed Luna toward a narrow path hidden behind the ancient feather tree. As they disappeared into the silver forest, one of the dream lanterns drifted gently downward. Inside it, a tiny golden flower slowly opened. Far away, beyond rivers no map had ever shown, beyond mountains woven from sleeping clouds, someone took the first deep breath they had taken in 1,000 years. Very quietly, almost too quietly to hear, a voice whispered into the endless night. He's coming. End of chapter 2, and end with something like, Thank you for walking through Dreamworld with me tonight. May your own dreams be gentle, bright, and full of wonder. Dreams bloom brightest in hearts that choose kindness. Good evening, dear friend. Welcome back to Dreamworld. I'm so glad you've returned. Oliver has been waiting for you. Dreamworld Chronicles Episode 1. The Valley Where Dreams Bloom Chapter 3. Luna, the fox of moonlight. The path beneath the great feather tree was unlike any Oliver had ever walked. It was not made of stone, nor of earth. Instead, it shimmered with countless tiny silver leaves that rested gently upon one another, as though the moon itself had carefully laid them there. Every step Oliver took made the softest whisper, not a crunch, not a crack, only a peaceful sigh, like pages turning in an old storybook. Luna walked a few steps ahead. Her moonlit fur glowed softly beneath the stars, and her tiny crystal bell caught the silver light without making a sound. Oliver noticed something curious. The forest creatures they passed were not afraid of Luna. A family of rabbits bowed their little heads as she walked by. An old owl blinked slowly from a branch and greeted her with a warm smile. Even the trees seemed to lean ever so slightly toward her. "You must have many friends here," Oliver said. Luna looked back with a gentle smile. "I try to be a good friend first." Oliver thought about her words. "My grandmother used to tell me something similar." "What did she say?" "She would smile and say, 'If you wish to find kindness, begin by giving it.'" Luna's eyes sparkled. Wise hearts often discover the same truths. They continued together in comfortable silence. After a while, Oliver noticed tiny glowing lights floating between the trees. At first he thought they were fireflies, but as one drifted closer, he realized it was something entirely different. It was a tiny glowing seed with delicate silver wings. Hundreds of them floated peacefully through the forest like little stars searching for a place to rest. "What are they?" Oliver asked quietly. Luna watched them with affection. "They are seeds of tomorrow." Oliver tilted his head. "They are planted every night by acts of kindness." Oliver looked surprised. "I thought flowers grew from kindness." "They do," Luna replied, "but every kind choice also plants a seed that may bloom in someone else's heart one day." Oliver watched one tiny seed float gently onto a nearby branch. "So, we may never know where our kindness finally grows." Luna nodded. "That is why true kindness expects nothing in return." Oliver smiled. "I think I understand." As they walked farther into the forest, the trees grew older. Their trunks became wider. Their branches stretched higher into the heavens. Some were so ancient that tiny gardens of moss and flowers had grown upon their great limbs. The air smelled of cedar and wild jasmine. Somewhere nearby, water trickled softly over smooth stones. The peaceful sounds made Oliver slow his footsteps even more. "There is no need to hurry," Luna said without turning around. "Dreamworld has waited 1,000 years. It can wait a few moments more." Oliver laughed quietly. "I suppose you're right. My grandmother always said that rushing often makes us late in ways we cannot see." Luna smiled. "I would have liked to meet her." "So would I." For a little while, neither of them spoke. Sometimes silence was the kindest companion. Eventually, they arrived at a small wooden bridge crossing a narrow stream. The bridge was beautifully carved with tiny stars and crescent moons. Oliver stopped. One of the bridge's planks had become loose. "If someone crossed too quickly," he said, "they might stumble." Luna nodded. "They might." Oliver looked around. Near the stream lay a smooth branch, almost the perfect size. He carefully lifted the loose plank, placed the branch beneath it for support, and pressed everything gently back into place. It was not perfect, but it was safe. Luna watched quietly. "You could have simply walked across." Oliver brushed a little dust from his hands. "I know. Then why stop?" Oliver looked at the bridge. "Because someone after us may not notice the loose plank." Luna's gentle smile grew warmer than before. "The bridge will remember." Oliver blinked. "The bridge." Before Luna could answer, a soft golden light spread across the wooden rails. Tiny blossoms appeared between the carvings, no larger than pearls. Their sweet fragrance filled the evening air. Oliver looked around in amazement. "I didn't do that." "No," Luna replied softly. "You simply cared for someone you will probably never meet. In Dreamworld, that always leaves a little beauty behind." Oliver stood quietly for a moment. He did not feel proud, only grateful. They crossed the bridge together. On the other side stood a weathered wooden sign. Its letters had faded with time. Oliver brushed away a little moss so he could read it. "The Listening Meadow. What is this place?" he asked. Luna looked across the open field. A gentle breeze rolled through tall silver grass that shimmered beneath the moonlight. "This is where dream keepers come whenever their hearts become heavy." Oliver looked puzzled. "Heavy? Even those who care for dreams sometimes become sad. What happens then?" Luna stepped into the meadow. "They listen." Oliver followed. The grass swayed around them like gentle waves. Then something extraordinary happened. The breeze began carrying hundreds of quiet voices, not loud enough to understand, only soft enough to comfort. Oliver closed his eyes. The voices reminded him of laughter shared around a family table, of lullabies sung by loving parents, of old stories told beside warm fires, of words like, "I'm proud of you. Thank you. You are never alone." A single tear rolled gently down Oliver's cheek. He smiled. "They sound familiar." Luna nodded. "The meadow remembers every kind word ever spoken with love." Oliver opened his eyes. "So kindness is never truly lost." "No, it simply finds new ways to return." For a long while they remained there, listening, neither wished to disturb the peaceful whispers. At last, Luna looked toward the eastern sky. The stars are moving. Oliver looked up. Sure enough, one bright constellation had shifted ever so slightly. It is time. For what? Meet someone who remembers the very first dream. Oliver felt excitement flutter inside his heart. Someone that old? Luna nodded. He has watched Dreamworld since the first flower ever bloomed. They followed another narrow path leading beyond the meadow. As the silver grass slowly disappeared behind them, Oliver looked back one last time. The meadow whispered a final message upon the breeze, not in words, but in a feeling, a quiet reminder that kindness never disappears. It simply continues its journey. Ahead, nestled among towering ancient oaks, a warm amber light glowed from the window of a tiny round cottage. Smoke curled lazily into the moonlit sky. Outside the cottage stood a single lantern, waiting, as though its owner had known for many years that tonight a young dream gardener named Oliver would finally arrive. End of chapter 3. Thank you for visiting Dreamworld tonight. May your dreams be peaceful, your heart be kind, and your tomorrow bloom with hope. Until we meet again, good night, dear friend.